This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Movies, Reviews, and More. Brian Sebastian is on mute at the moment. A little bit of technical difficulties with that. Not too bad, though. So you're tuned in to K4AT Radio and Talk4 TV with Brian Sebastian. And tonight we have Rachel Roberts with us, Yvette Freeman from Envoy Magazine, and Will Howe. So let's start with Yvette. Can you tell us a little bit about Envoy Magazine?
Hi, everyone. I am Yvette Freeman. I'm the founder, publisher, and editor of the Envoy Guide. It is a print and digital magazine that comes out 3 times a year and features women of all races, minorities, business members, entrepreneurs, community members, and creative artists all over the U.S. And I just try to highlight their stories and let people know they exist and what they're doing in the community.
It's awesome. And you're a photographer as well, right? So you have a little bit of more than just one thing going on, huh?
Oh, yes. I also am the owner of Red Angle Photography at redanglephotography.com. I do everything but weddings. So portraits, headshots, branding, families, couples, whatever you need that does not include being on your wedding day. So I hope everybody will check out the website and just see all my work.
We might get into that a little bit later, but for now, we're going to move on to Will. Will, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what you got going on right now?
Sure. I would like to just thank Brian for the opportunity to come today. And just to say that I met Yvette over the weekend in Nashville, and her magazine is not like any magazine you've ever seen before. It's very special, and I urge you to check it out. It's very artsy.
Thank you.
But I wrote a book called Sticks in the Clouds. It's a novel. It's my first novel. And this goes way back for me personally to high school, actually, when I graduated a semester early and I left the country for the first time. I went to Brazil for 6 weeks. And it just opened up my mind to different language and culture. And I was changed when I came home. And I thought, I can't see myself working in an office for the rest of my life. You know, I really want to get out there again and see the world. And I had an interest in aviation. And I thought the perfect answer would be to be an international airline pilot. So that's what I did. And I went to the University of Illinois Institute of Aviation and started working my way up. And in the early 1980s, I found myself flying for a small regional airline in the South. And it wasn't like your typical airline. Our planes were small, 19-passenger turboprops. You couldn't really stand up inside the cabin. We didn't have a lavatory. We didn't have flight attendants. And we were up and down 10, 12 times a day in an area known as Tornado Alley. So the work was sometimes a bit dangerous, and the pilots were all about the same age with the same passion, the same dreams. So we formed great friendships, lifelong friendships, and we really bonded together. And the common thing everybody would say is, somebody ought to write a book about this someday. People should know what we go through here and what this is like. Well, I took that seriously. I've always loved literature and language, and I put it in the back of my mind. And anyway, to make a long story short, a few years later, I did get hired by United Airlines, and I was living in Chicago, which is my hometown. And I took a course in fiction writing at the University of Chicago. And my teacher was this brilliant woman from India, Molly Daniels Ramanujan. And I loved her. She just had the ability to just bring the subject matter to life. And she gave us assignments, and we had to write short stories every week. And if she liked what you had written, then you got invited to read for an open mic in this Irish pub down in Hyde Park, which is the main campus for the University of Chicago. Well, I had written a short piece about going to the little seaport town in Camden, Maine, where my father was from, and traipsing through the cemetery there and seeing all the tombstones of family members that I never met before, and what it was like to see a tombstone with my name, my full name, Willard Chamberlain Howe, on it. But also in my story, I incorporated some lines from a famous poem from a famous American poet who was from Maine, Edna St. Vincent Millay. And the poem was called Renaissance. And it's a long poem. It's like 25 pages, but I just used a little bit of it. And as I was reciting the poem, my teacher was in the audience, and sitting next to her was the father of one of the girls from our class. And they were from Jamaica. And my teacher looked over at him, and she noticed that he was reciting the poem as I was speaking. And he came up to her afterwards and he said, you know, in Jamaica, in English class, all the kids were required to memorize that whole poem. It was 25 pages. He said, I loved that poem. That poem was my favorite poem, but I haven't even thought of it for 30 years. And just now, it brought me back to growing up in Jamaica as a boy. So my teacher came up to me afterwards and she related this story to me, and she said, that's the power of writing. You never know how your words are going to affect people. And I thought that was a powerful message. And a week later, my phone rang, and it was my teacher, which shocked me. And she said, I just wanted to call you to tell you that if you're serious about writing a book, you could do it. And here's how you do it. And she said, don't think of writing out a fancy outline. Don't think of how you're going to write, you know, the beginning, the middle, and the end. Just start writing and think of it as a stepping stone. You write that first scene, and that's your first stepping stone. And then you write the next scene, and then you step onto that next stone. And after a while, you have a path. And if you're lucky, the story starts to draw you along instead of the other way around. And I hung up the phone and I thought, well, that was the greatest kick in the pants I could have ever hoped for. And now I have to at least try and see what would happen. And my kids were young at the time, and I knew it was going to take a lot. So fortunately, I had this perfect opportunity. At the time, I was flying from Chicago to Paris, France, and we stayed very close to the Eiffel Tower at the Pullman Hotel, which used to be the old Paris Hilton. So I would just take my notebooks and pens and find a park bench right by the Eiffel Tower and write. And I had the free time to do that without distraction. So the story took shape, and it was starting to come along, and it was starting to develop. And I was thinking this could turn out to be really special. But it was an amazing experience to be writing and to get caught up in the words and the pages, and then to look up and see the Eiffel Tower right in front of me, you know, pointing skyward in all its French majesty. So I feel very fortunate. I thought, God, I must be like the luckiest guy in the world. So,
well, stop right there. Stop us being the luckiest guy in the world, because I want to go into Yvette at that point. Yvette, talk about being very fortunate and having a magazine and starting where you started and then being to Tennessee with us.
Unmute.
You're on mute.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I started it in March of 2021. That was the first issue, and just started because I saw a need in my area. There weren't any publications really that really featured women business owners and minority business owners and creative artists. So I just started from there, creating one issue, and then did two more, and it's grown and continues to grow. And just being in Tennessee and Nashville last week and just meeting other screenwriters and authors, and getting to meet Will and Natasha Rumbus, who couldn't be with us, I guess, tonight, but just meeting all of you there just really gave me a lot more excitement and really motivation to keep going, because the support has been really slow in my area. But just seeing the reaction that people at the event were giving me, and just collaborating with all of you has just been exciting for me.
And Rachel, talk about this. So here's a photo. I don't know if everybody can see it, but this is Caitlin. She's stuck on her third plane today. So she's had retrograde plane travel stuff.
Oh,
she
man.
just sent it. Yeah.
I was having retrograde stuff today. That's why I was late joining, because I couldn't get my computer to work.
It's full in
we're all
effect,
having
huh?
it. I think Yvette's next door at her neighbor's house. She had it. I definitely have it. I'm at my mom's house. We're all having it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried like my computer dropped 3 times today. My internet did.
Well,
All right,
we have
Rachel.
neighbors who are building next door to us, and they physically cut our phone line when they were mowing because
Oh,
the phone company had to move the line, and it's just laying on top of the grass, and they mowed. And so my husband had to go out and actually splice it together.
Oh,
Otherwise,
wow.
I would be at a neighbor's house trying to see if it could work.
oh wow.
See? That's what it's all about.
What a
Hey, Rachel,
Retrograde is
yeah.
in full effect.
Hey, Rachel, talk about this, because we've been talking about Yvette's magazine, The Envoy Guide, for a lot. Yvette, I've actually had a lot of people come up and say they read the article that you had in there. And that was really nice, because I've never seen that many people in today's age reading a magazine. So
Yeah.
talk about that, Rachel.
Oh, okay. So Yvette, I want you to know I love your magazine. I'm in every chance I get, I show it and I talk about it. So you had said, you don't do social media, and I said, don't worry about it, because I do. So I'm on in the mornings doing coffee talk, and I'm talking about you. I'm talking about the magazine. I had a little pre-show. I do pre-shows before we do these podcasts, and I hold it up and I show people. Because sometimes you forget to show people that you're the photographer. This beautiful picture, is incredible. And
Thank you.
I was so lucky being in Nashville and to meet you, and you're so fast. And so are you, Will. But to get to have my picture done by you, I can't wait to see. Will, you were taking a lot of pictures too, weren't you? We had photos being taken here, there, everywhere. And Terry, gorgeous. Terry, you look beautiful tonight. Your lips look so pretty. I can see them standing and popping out.
Thank you.
Yeah, they look beautiful. Yeah,
I just
let's see
wear,
those
I
lips.
wear a rosé.
It's gorgeous.
Hey,
I
Will.
like that color on you.
Thank you.
Hey, Will, let me go back to you for a minute. Talk about your experience of driving from Chicago down to Nashville, because, you took a chance. Everybody's taking a chance on us. And I want people to know, when you take a chance on us, you won't regret it.
Well, I feel like it was an easy drive. It was just 8.5 hours. And Carolina was trying to get home the other day, and to San Luis Obispo, California. Her flight was so late that she just gave up on the idea. She had a business trip on Monday to Boston, so she just went to Boston instead of California. So I feel very fortunate. It was an easy trip for me, but it was well worth it. It was great meeting everybody. I'd never really done anything like this before, and I was just immersed in so many talented people, and I was hoping some of that would rub off on me, but I feel like I've met some new friends, and no, I just had a great time. It was very positive.
And Will,
Incredible.
you also took some great photos on your camera. I saw the photos yesterday. They were really nice. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. And I've got a bunch more. I didn't want to overload you with too many all at once. And everybody took so many that I'm sure that, that what I provided was just a drop in the bucket.
No, it was a teamwork effort and everybody helped out. I mean, there's a great photo of Linda Steele and Terry with the Bentley. And that was really, really good. All right, so Terry, talk about being at the Bentley event, because it was a little chaotic, but in the end, we're going to have Bentley. Talk about that.
Which part? I mean, the event was great. I mean, the best part of Nashville was just being able to meet everybody in person that we've been doing all these Zoom shows with that we have not been able to meet. Ren and I went to Nashville 3 years ago, so some of these people I had met before, but it was good to connect with them. I'm also launching my NFTs. I've given myself a deadline that they're all going to be up in like 4 weeks. So I was able to kind of ask people's opinion of that. So it kind of gave me validation of the projects that I'm doing right now. Because sometimes, as a creator, you need people to kind of push you and tell you that that's like a great idea. The Alice Awards were wonderful. Again, me and Linda took these pictures in the Bentleys and the Rolls. So we got some photo shoots done. As two fitness girls, we love to take every opportunity we can to get a photo shoot. But back to Alice Award, amazing women, amazing talent there. Things kind of got like off to a rocky start, I guess, with people trying to find their tables and stuff. But in the end, it was a gorgeous evening. It was a great event, and it was a great networking. I met so many wonderful people, if that makes sense.
Hey, Yvette and Rachel, talk about meeting the Hasmark people. Kelly and Mary Kate, because they took them 20 hours to drive down there one way.
I don't think I actually got a chance to speak with them. But I did see them in the audience, but I did not have a chance to personally meet them.
I got to meet them, Brian. I got to sit with them.
Yeah, I talked to them today, as a matter of fact, on the phone. Two great women that we met, and great connections. Every person out there, just like, Will was saying, it was just dripping with talent. There were so many people out there, and you couldn't assume that anybody, you couldn't assume that one person wasn't someone. I thought that guy, that Asian guy at the end, the doctor, I thought that was the hot dog, because he came with the white shirt and the black tie. I was like, oh, he's like, no, I'm the director for the next film.
Well, what was great about Hasmark? Oh, I'm sorry. Go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, no. What were you saying?
Oh, no, I just said I was going to go. What was great about meeting the Hasmark people is I was able to run some ideas by them and get their honest opinion. Because sometimes you want to run ideas through other people, and it's good to have other women support your ideas. Mm-hmm. So, as I mentioned with my NFTs and cryptos, I was like, if I start doing, TikTok videos on this stuff, would you guys be interested? Like, yes, we want to learn about it. This is something we're interested in. And then so that again, it's very encouraging, you know what I mean? To go, and it's also scary to go outside the box and go, this is my idea. What do you think about it? And then they're like, when you're done with that project, then you should write a book. But they're like, we want you to do this project first, and then we.
I'm going to do it too. We're all writing books. I'm going to do it too. I've got a cookbook that I have recipes all over the place, little notebooks, like all over with recipes filled in them. And, I was talking to these gals today, and they said, we're going to help you out. We're going to I want to put stories in between recipes, because, I think that would make a great cookbook. And I've had so many people ask me if I'm going to do this. So I you know what? Those women were fantastic. Everybody out there was fantastic. Every single person we met was, yeah.
Then we got the opportunity to be on panels and talk about our experiences. What I really liked about it, sitting in those panels, is that a lot of us women have gone through the same exact experiences and not knowing it, and being able to share those experiences. It was just kind of cool, because remember we were talking about, as Rachel, me, you, and Linda had all gone through some serious things, and we didn't even realize it until we got up on that panel and started talking about it. was really, it really kind of touched me in a good way.
Yeah, those panels were fantastic. I don't know who comes up with these ideas, like reinventing yourself and social media. These were all things that were so good, and I can't wait for next year. You know, I want Tosh to do like a workshop where she actually sits at a table and tells us all, hey, pull out your phones and walks baby steps through some of these things, because, you know, that's how we stay connected. But these panels were great. And the last one on Sunday, you know, was all this spiritual, you know, and that was, I mean, that couldn't have been more perfect on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
beautiful.
The panel on Sunday was awesome too. It was kind of like I would say like a spiritual brunch. As a Christian woman, like I really like to hear all the faith of these women and how they use their faith in their art or creating. And you don't hear that enough. You don't hear enough about how their faith in God helps them and helps them be stronger. So that really touched me, and that made me like want to get my relationship with Jesus better, if that makes any sense. It was very, very like, you know what? I need God in my life.
Inspiration is what guides us, right?
Yep.
So
exactly.
I do have a lot of photos
Absolutely.
of the event over the weekend. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put up all these
Let's
photos,
see them.
and please feel free to chime in and give your feedback on them as they appear.
Okay.
This is one of the panels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And Brian with his sign. That sign is fantastic.
He's got a company that did that for him. And
That's our dear friends.
Yeah, unique LED. I love that sign. That's Kelly Lang.
Look, there's Kelly Lang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's me and Brian. That's my signature.
You can't tell that they're famous, but Kelly Lang, man, you could tell.
Look at that leg work, Terry.
Yeah.
That's my signature stand.
And then John Barry. So John Barry, man, he's recovering from cancer, throat cancer in a way. He had a great story to tell, and he's a legend out there too.
I was talking to this guy about drinking Cokes versus coffee. This was another one. I didn't even know that he was up there on the panel and he was somebody big. And here he is, like, you know, I was talking to a woman while he was talking, and she's like, oh yeah, he's huge. He's got all these, you know, if you look him up, he's got all these famous country songs, like Christian country songs back in the 90s, like a lot of them that, you know, were really popular. I'm like, I had no idea. I was talking to him about, you know, drinking too many Diet Cokes, and he's like, I gotta go talk.
Well, he had a very interesting story about how. Oh, go on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm talking too much today.
Terry, go ahead and tell that story. Go ahead.
No, it was a very inspiring story because he had talked about having cancer, and that song Joy, was it called Joy? I think it was Joy. It was
Joy.
And he said, I don't feel very joyful right now. I want to sing this song. You know, I'm going through all this stuff. And then I guess, you know, his spirituality and his relationship with God led him to doing that song. And it was a very touching story, and it's a beautiful song. And he's got a beautiful voice. And it's just amazing the power of faith, that he could have lost his voice and never sung again. And, you know, he went through throat cancer, and here he is releasing another album or CD or whatever we call them these days.
It's empowering.
Yes.
Completely empowering.
Mm-hmm. Never give up on your dreams. You know, sometimes you have, I guess what the biggest thing is I took away from a lot of these people is that you will have a lot of obstacles in your life, but you can overcome anything if you put your mind to it and have faith. That's what I kind of saw with a common theme.
Yeah, I have to say too that I was telling my husband that was probably the friendliest group of people at an event that I've been to in a really long time. And like you said, I think Will said it, we made friends. It was really nice because some of the women, Patricia Leonard and Janet Jackson, who I couldn't even remember her name. I took her picture and I couldn't remember her name afterwards. We were wearing the same outfit, but just the people we met were so friendly and down to earth. And it was like we had known each other for years. And I love that.
Yvette, talk about being on the Lincoln panel. What was that like for you?
I liked doing that because I hate being in the spotlight, and being able to just talk about the magazine itself, and being in the company of Susan Hunter and Pam Tate and all these other women, and Jeff Chase, I believe was his name, who's also a writer. Just being on the panel with so many talented people and being considered, I guess, worthy of being up there with them, because they are well known in the Nashville area and probably nationally and internationally. It was just really inspiring, just hearing their stories and hearing about what they're doing. So I enjoyed being up there and learning about their stories.
You know, the fun thing about that was putting your magazine in all the gift bags. No one did. I just did it, and because that magazine belonged there, so I said, I'm putting her. You know, she brought 3 boxes of 75 magazines, and I used every single one. And then in the end, I took 20 of them, and I've got them here, and I just gave my mom like 7 of them.
Well, thank you so much too. I appreciate that.
Well, nothing should go to waste because it's beautiful. It is what Will says. It is what Rachel says. You know, and then it was an honor to see you taking photos of everybody in the corner, actually watching you work. That was really great. And my southern mom, Edie Han, really loved that.
Yeah, I just decided to do that kind of last minute because I thought, since I had all of you there and going to be doing features on all of you, I figured why not go ahead and get photos of you while I'm here. And then other people started coming up, and I just enjoy meeting everybody. And I've started editing some of the pictures so I can at least put them in a gallery so you guys can see at least one edited picture. And then if you want more, I can edit the others. But I just loved meeting everybody and talking with everybody. And it was a great way to hone my skills and show everybody hopefully what my photography skills are like too.
Yvette, I've got to say, I know the photography world, and you have 1,000 captures, but only like 2 of them make the edit. I understand that. I'm in that world too. So, but you have taken it on a beyond and above level. And what do you find that's the most creative spot for you in this world?
Oh, wow. The most creative, I enjoy the photography. I would not have believed just even 10 years ago, 6 years ago, that I would be doing photography full time and then doing the magazine. The magazine I love too, because I get to combine the photography with desktop publishing and computer work and creative work. It's like putting a puzzle together for me. That's something that I've always enjoyed doing, even in my corporate previous lives, doing all of the marketing and publications was something that I always did. So I enjoy doing that, but probably the photography is what I enjoy the most, because I get to not only meet people and be able to create artwork that hopefully they will love for generations and their families will love, but also providing them something that they can hand down to their families for years.
Amazing.
Will, hey, Will, what was that drive home like for you? What were you thinking about?
You know, one of the great things about a long road trip, and I even wrote about this in my book, it's like the zen of the highway again. You can go from thinking about a million things to thinking about nothing. You just blank your mind and you're in the moment. And so I probably thought about way too many things to start talking about, but I just felt like it was a very successful event and very special. And I'm just excited to see everyone again and to see everybody's artistic project do well and get out there. But my trip home was pretty short. I'm used to flying 15, 16-hour trips to Asia. So an 8-hour trip from Nashville to Chicago was nothing. But, when you're talking about...
Yeah, no big deal.
When you, Terry, I think when you were talking about don't give up on your dreams, that is one of the themes in my book. And when people say, "What's your book about?" and I ramble on about this pilot who meets and falls in love with this beautiful Cuban American woman, and then I think that's not what the book is about. It's really about don't give up on your dreams and other major themes. So anybody could look could read the pages and see themselves in the story. You don't really have to care that much about aviation or Cuba or any of the plot items to take home the messages. And I think that's one of the best messages for everyone is there's power in optimism and power in tenacity. And then you don't succeed without going through hardship, and you have to have you just have to expect it, and you have to power through, just like you're going through a storm. You're going to be in blue skies again. And I think that you hit upon a really important theme for everybody's life.
Hey, Will, talk about meeting Kelly and Mary Kate from Hasmar, and talk about selling your book.
Well, I've been talking to them through Zoom conferences for months, and it was such a pleasure to meet them in person. Zooming is so great. I mean, especially, with something like the pandemic, it was a way to keep communicating. But there's a magic about, real face-to-face interpersonal relations that, you could really pick up on it in Nashville, just, being able to communicate with people. And so I really don't think my book has had a chance to reach a wide audience yet. I think that's coming. But I'm inspired by what I've seen other people's works, and I think it's a story that will resonate with a lot of people when it's had an opportunity to get out there. So they say that the marketing is probably harder than the writing, and I can understand that. They're two separate things. But in the beginning, I might have been a bit naive, thinking all I had to do was write something really special and write it well, the best that I could. And I feel like I did that, but the marketing part of it is an area that was totally foreign to me. So I'm groping and I'm reaching out to people, and Mary Kate and Kelly have a lot of good ideas, and I'm not a natural social media person like Yvette. It's something that I kind of shy away from because I don't really understand it yet, but I think I'll get there. And I think our trip to the library, Brian, was really fun. You should mention that. Brian took us all to the Nashville Public Library, and
Wow.
Carolina and Angelica and I sat down and filled out an application to have our books picked up by the library, which was kind of fun. Then we took some nice photographs.
Oh yeah, that was a great photo. It was one of those things where you guys looked like you were taking your driver's test.
Yeah.
They're on there, looked like they were writing their first book, and I'm like, I got to take a photo of this. Nobody's going to believe it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. But Will, talk about being on the luncheon panel, and you actually sold the book. That must have surprised the hell out of you, right?
It did. Yeah. And this woman, Tanya Holly, I think is her name. She's a director and a producer, but she was so supportive. She just came up to me out of the blue and started asking me questions, and she couldn't wait to purchase it and read it. And that's such a great feeling, when somebody says, I read your book and it really spoke to me. There were parts that really affected me on a personal level, like losing a family member or losing a best friend completely unexpectedly. Those kinds of themes are all through my book, and everybody has those things in their lives. And when you read a story that has those, you feel you can connect with it on a personal level. So that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to write it in the first place. So yeah, I hope to have more experiences like that in the near future.
Yeah, Yvette, talk about what was it like making the drive home with your husband in that RV? That I don't even call it an RV. I call it a nice Mercedes big ride. That's what I call it.
That thing is, that was
beautiful.
Apartment on wheels.
It's always nice. Of course, we haven't used it that much. We just got it last year, and we already want to sell it and get a different one. So, but it's very comfortable, and it makes traveling long distance much more palatable.
Yeah, it's got a shower and everything in there. You don't have to leave. I mean, you don't have to go to the gas station. That's what I was thinking.
I've seen a lot of people converting to this, so I envy them because they have got it all, this apartment on wheels. And
that's right.
But they do have some disadvantages too, right? I mean,
yes, and that's why we're looking at getting a different one, because the one that we have, you can't use it if it gets below freezing, because all of the pipes and everything are underneath and exposed to the weather. So there's actually one that's a 4-season one that even has larger water tanks, so we could go even longer, because it was so hot in Nashville. I mean, we were in the mid-90s, and we ran the generator to run the AC for 2 days straight, and we went completely through all of our propane. So hopefully the next one we get will last much longer, hopefully.
Gas is expensive these days, huh?
Propane and gas.
Coming to Texas, so you better bring an extra propane tank.
Oh, Texas needs 2 air conditioning units.
Yes.
Yeah,
3 propane
tanks.
Talk about what was your husband thinking being there and watching this all on the side? What was that drive home for him like?
He enjoyed it too. He tries to go with me as many places as possible when his schedule fits, and he calls himself my Sherpa, and he's also my lighting assistant when I need that. And so he enjoyed meeting everyone as well. And it was very interesting because, like I said, there were people who we met who were so friendly, and even Patricia Leonard, who was such a warm and generous woman, came up to me Saturday before we left and was just saying how much we contributed to the conference just by being there. And it was just very surprising to both of us that she felt that our presence was actually that much, had that much of an effect on not only the whole conference, but her experience. So we really enjoyed it. And he looks forward to hopefully going again next year.
Terry, talk about what were you thinking about on the plane ride home of what you experienced, and just
to be honest, I slept the whole night. I was like exhausted. It was a lot. No, I checked out. I mean, I had to take a connecting flight to Miami. So I didn't get home. My flight left at 3, and I didn't get home till like 2:30 last night.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Rachel, what was your experience when you left? Like, what were you thinking about?
Well, I made it back to Houston, but my luggage did not. So my luggage showed up last night. So talk about more of the retrograde. Yeah, that was 5 of us that our luggage was not. It didn't get off the airplane. Yeah, these photos were great. These panels.
You did get your luggage though, finally.
That night, that finally.
That photo was from the Alice Awards. All those icons standing up there like that.
Love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I was lucky enough to pass out the bags, the goodie bags. I'm like, heck yeah, I'll do that. I got to go up and take pictures with these people. These were like the ones that were really big time. And there's Tosh.
Give a shout out to Tosh.
We gotta
give a shout out.
Yeah, where's she now?
Tosh and Angelica went out every night and had a blast.
Yeah, they did.
There's Angelica.
Oh no, that's Catalina. And that's
yes.
2.5 Mark Girls, Will and Barbara Brown. But it wasn't for Barbara Brown in the middle. She's the one that did the last interview on me in 2018. And that's how we ended up going to Jimmy Adams's place to be on iChive 247. And I love this photo because it's just a great photo of the Envoyed God with Yvette. I think that's one of the better ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I was looking for one of
She was so sweet. Oh my
Howard when he was there, who Rachel always called Cowboy. I finally remembered, and hopefully Rocky has a picture of him. I finally remembered who he reminds me of. He looks and sounds just like Billy Bob Thornton to me.
A little bit.
Is that Howard Wiggins?
Howard Wiggins, yes. And just hearing his story,
Howard
but
Wiggins,
he was
that guy
probably one of the coolest guys there.
Hey, Rachel, tell a little bit about it.
I was downstairs, and when I was there, I saw him in the lobby except for him. So I said, Cowboy, I didn't know who he was really, right? So I said, Cowboy, come over here and talk to me. Get on live and let's do coffee talk. So he came over and he starts talking to me and telling me some stories. And he's dropping names like Dolly Parton, and he was in Elvis Presley, and I mean, this man has a story to tell. These are people that he grew up with, people that he's friends with. He actually could pick up the phone and call Dolly Parton. I'm like, what? That guy he needs to write his own book. We need to hook him up. In fact, I was telling what.
This is the closest that we'll get to any of us, all of us being together. That last photo.
That one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I love all of you in this one. Being Roxy, the producer behind the scenes, I know each and every one of you individually, and to see you all in a photo together is very heartwarming. And I wish I were there with you guys.
I wish you were there too, because it would have been great to have you there with us.
Yeah, next year you will be. Yeah, next year you're coming.
You got it. I'll be there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Howard Wiggins.
We're all going back next year.
Howard Wiggins told us a great story about how I think he broke his collarbone or something like that. And then Dolly Parton came to visit him in the hospital, and she straddled him because he couldn't move his neck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was. I loved hearing his story. I think he said his father started the Grand Ole Opry. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I heard that as well.
Yeah,
that's
right.
That's the most iconic places in the world for music. Yeah. So that's a fundamental story in music for sure.
Howard's going to be on in August, mid to late August.
Good. Yeah, I told him I would love to feature him in the Envoy Guide since I'm expanding the content anyway to include more topics and more people. So I think he would make a great story.
He was also in the fashion show. I mean, I love every jacket that he wore. I like everything. This guy was. He just stood out for me.
Those are some great designers.
Every
Those were
person
beautiful
there,
outfits.
Every person there is somebody that you could put in your magazine. Every one of them. Every person was incredible.
Yeah.
Yes.
You should read. Yes. Are you connected with everyone?
I got as many cards as I could. There was even one of the vendors was a 14-year-old girl who created her own candle company. So I've got her card and her photos. So she's going to be featured at some point. So yeah, there were so many people that I can't wait to talk with and hear their stories to put in the magazine.
Lovely.
Linda Steele bought 3 of her candles. I meant to buy one.
That girl was on. Yeah, she was on Ellen DeGeneres' show.
Yeah.
She was on the Ellen show. She started that business when she was 11, and she ships candles all over the world. She's a kid.
Yeah.
Very successful. Very, very cool. Kudos to that mom.
Yvette will have to talk, huh?
Absolutely.
Hey, Will, give your social media links real quick.
My website is willardhowe.com, and at Pilot Author. We'll get on Instagram and Facebook.
And hopefully we'll see
Awesome.
you in Houston late June. We got some good stuff being set up at Rachel's house. That's our next trip.
I look forward to it.
You'll have fun. It's going to be fun the way we're setting it up. You bet.
Thank you,
Give me
Will.
some links.
For the Envoy, it's the Envoy Guide on Facebook and Instagram. And for Red Angle Photography, it's just at Red Angle Photography. I'm on everything but Twitter and TikTok. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, I'm on those three.
And what are you working on next?
I am actually, I just sent the July-August issue to the printer, and we'll get that back sometime in July. It's going to be late according to my printer because of COVID-related issues and everything, but I'm also editing pictures. I'm also a freelance photographer for a magazine in Asheville called the Montford and North Asheville Neighbors magazine. So I do photography for that publisher as well. So I'm right now doing that, and then going to be working on the November issue pretty soon, in which Rachel and Terry and hopefully Sherry Bolton in Lubbock, Texas will be in. So it's going to have a lot more features in there, and hopefully Linda as well too. I'm trying to squeeze as much in there as possible each issue.
Yes.
Who's in the July issue?
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think. There were so many.
Tosh?
I've got another young high school student who created his own business called Chill Cereal Bar. I've got a feature on, let's see, two ladies out of Atlanta who started their own PR company called Launch and Company. I've got a feature on, I can't remember now. I've got quite a few, but those are some of the local ones. And just got quite a few in there. So it will be going live digitally July 1st, and hopefully I'll get them back from my printer, the print copies, within the next week or so after that.
Terry, give you social media links.
Nonstop Terry Marie on all platforms, and then my website is terrymarieofficial.com.
And Rachel, yours?
Okay, here we go. At Rachel Roberts Recipes, you can find me on all social media platforms. And that's what this is all stuff from the garden. Fresh basil, tomatoes are all red and beautiful and ready to pick. Peppers, I'm making some hot sauce tomorrow. Got lots of peppers, grilled chicken, and shrimp. Yeah.
And I have a couple photos I'm going to share with everybody here from Rachel's recipes as well.
Hey, Rachel, I used your chicken spice on some chicken breast the other day. Delicious.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
it's something you gave out, huh?
Right. I still have them. Yeah. I didn't get. Yeah, there were more to give out. I forgot them on the second day and the third day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have more spice. So
it was delicious.
Have to do it on our next trip. Good.
Rachel, I'm giving you my address. I would love to have a sample.
I'll send you a jar. Yeah,
I would love that. Oh, you're amazing.
Hey, Rachel, real quick, tease the audience of what we're talking about so far at your house.
Oh my goodness. So, you can't come to Texas without getting, Terry, did you buy that cowboy hat?
No, I did not. I'll have to get one.
Good. Well, because I'm going to have a cowboy hat guy and also the guy that does custom cowboy boots over here. And I'm, like I said, you can't come to Texas without, Tex-Mex, without brisket, without, you've got to have some barbecue. So I'm thinking I'll do some barbecue, some Tex-Mex, and of course, my salmon. That's delicious. And then stuff from the garden, cocktails, music. We're gonna have Ray Ramirez. He's a DJ here in Houston who also has his own Roku show, so we can have the whole thing on Roku. And it's gonna be a good time. So I hope everyone can make it out and try some of my cooking, and we can, there's some other things that we're going to do out there, right, Brian? We're going to look at the charter plane and all sorts of fun stuff. So
And the local
look forward to it.
Houston Bentley dealership, we're going to reach out to them too. We got a bunch of things that are lined up that will, everything will work for Dreamweaver Ranch. And then, so Roxy, talk about Tosh on your show last night and your social media links.
All right, so you all know Tosh, vocally Tosh and Tasha Rimbos, music.com, and we all love her. She's got some spunk, but she was on RA Nation last night and she did phenomenal. So you'll have to go check it out. Go to their YouTube channel at Music Familiar Productions. They're on YouTube. Check out RA Nation podcast group on Facebook. You'll find us and you'll find Natasha, vocally Tosh, and we were so proud of her. She's so amazing. So we got to give her some kudos here. So yay, Tosh.
I forgot to mention that she will be featured in the July-August issue. It completely slipped my mind. So she will be in the July-August issue.
Okay.
Good. And then the other thing, I'm only going to talk about it briefly. So we're going to look for Bentley for us in the future for movie reviews and more. And the Judy Garland fragrance coming up June 10th in Los Angeles. Only 300 people are invited. It's a worldwide phenomenon. It's going to be very unique. We're working on all the final details. We'll have more as soon as the weeks start to project. And so I want to thank everybody who came on, because technology is great when it works, not so great when it doesn't work, right? We all are victims. So as I say this, have a good night tonight, a better day tomorrow. If you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours, because the world needs you. I'm Brian Sebastian for Movie Reviews and More. We will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.